Only time that apply where the government give you something that works better than something you'll get publicly is like medicine. When we was in the military, like they was always prescribing pills, those pills that work too good.
The generic brand.
The generic off aftermarket with a little extra oomph in it for a lower price. Like, that's what they had us on. But we here, we hot. We know y'all see it. If y'all listening to us on Spotify or Apple or any other streaming platform, what up? We see you. We appreciate you listening. It's the RoundHouse RoundTable. It's me and Monty T, and we got B in the building. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
For rocking with a real one. Thank you. Yeah, we gonna get into it. Let's get it.
I swear my glow up in lightning. Hot, yeah, something like lightning. This shit a hit, I'm a psychic. She want me lick, I'm excited. See, I feel that's my business, and that's why I'm business minded. Need a push, get behind it. It's science, apply it. Worst come to worst, you tried it. Get it bad, get inspired. Shoot your shot, just the effort. I admire. You're high, it ain't looking for friends at this point.
Oh my God,
my circle is smaller than the point.
NoCap.
I'd rather sit in voice than hearing the figure on their voice.
We already have. So we gotta start off how we do it, like every time that we do it, like we do it. The NoCap recap. And I like this one. This is UFC San Diego.
Okay.
And, and it was a fun night, nice little night. It was some booze that happened. But that's what happens anytime you get a live crowd. It just get like that, I guess. But I guess the first fight was so good, it ended in a draw. Yusuf Zalal versus the monster Blackshear. Shout out to these guys. Yusuf was coming off a loss, and Blackshear is, he got this fight on short notice. He got the call and showed up.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say would be like his ground game is efficient. His defense is efficient. It's just, putting those pieces together on a jiu-jitsu side while you're on the ground. And the only thing where it seemed like where his jiu-jitsu wasn't coming through for him was repetition. Repetition and being close to fundamentals. So like doing some basic classes to rep those rear naked positions out. And so it's just like, it just takes that repetition. But at the same time, it seemed like his defense is there. And it seems like he's not a quitter.
Right. I don't want to discredit Zalal. His defenses were really good. He was great at identifying when the threat was actually happening, and he was able to keep himself safe numerous times. I haven't ever seen a draw happen since I started watching the UFC, which was probably like a year and a half ago. And so the fact that it happened this way, I'm just kind of just taken back by it, especially because, in my opinion, it wasn't a draw because two people, they were even, but then the other person had it for a Blackshear. In my mind, a draw is, one judge give it to Zalal, the other judge give it to Blackshear, and then the other one is split. To me, that's what a draw is. But, majority draw, I, got some understanding of that. I don't think that was, it kind of makes sense, but, I know Zalal was pretty upset because, he tried to show out in the third round. Both their coaches was telling them that, okay, you guys are neutral on the ground. Let's make something happen standing up. And so I understand it from that aspect, but I think Blackshear just needs to get a bit more fluid with his transitions. And I think he'll be pretty good. As Zalal, more power in his striking, but he was very consistent in the third round and knocked Blackshear down a couple of times. So if he had kept that pace up from start to finish, then he would have easily took this match. But it's just learning lessons that you have to go through, in a sense.
And I think taking this fight on short notice is big, but at the same time, what it says is like Blackshear already be in the gym. So, and he has a lot to build on. And it looks like he has it's just his desire to finish. Once he start putting those finishes together, that's when he's really want to start shining.
I understand about people taking fights on short notice, but if you are a UFC athlete, then that's your job. Essentially,
he wasn't before this.
He wasn't. Oh, so he got a contract short. That's pretty. Oh, they did say he was preparing for a fight. That's neat.
Yeah, that's why this is big. Like, you know, even though it came into a draw, you know, people want to see him again.
Yeah, it wasn't
You
an
know,
L, so
people want to see him fight again.
yeah.
So.
Okay, that's pretty neat then.
Speaking of want to see them fight again, next, Josh Quillen versus Jason Witt. Josh Quillen came through with the knockout
Quick.
round 1 as Jason Witt was stepping in to look like it looked like he was, I don't know what he was look like he was doing, but whatever he was doing, he was stopped midair and finished right there. Josh Quillen was about to come down with one more, but he was able to stop. So that's good that he's able to have that type of control, because it would have been it for him. But it was a catch weight. Shout out to Josh Quillen.
Yeah,
he got
he
the
did his
W.
thing.
He pretty much stayed consistent, because Jason Wood was definitely throwing some shit out there.
Yeah, he was.
But good W, good knockout, great highlight. Speaking of great highlight, next, God damn, Osborne versus Tyson Nam. Tyson Nam kept smiling at him the whole time, and it's like, one, they thought he was happy to be in there. 2, they thought he kept getting touched up because Osborne was really catching him the whole time. But I was like, why is Tyson Nam not throwing anything? Why is he not throwing anything? Okay, all right, he's trying to see everything Osborne has, because he was fucking him up with them front kicks.
Yeah.
To the stomach. He jumped one time, and Tyson Nam made a read. Then he jumped again, and then he executed on that read and got the knockout.
Yeah.
Round 1.
He's even said that Ode is known for his jumping, his jumping knees. So like, I understand like that's your go-to, or that may be a thing you're pretty consistent with, but it leaves you open for a lot of things. And Tyson did a great job capitalizing on that. And it was smooth, elite, and clean.
It was. That was elite. Next, we got Gabriel Benitez versus Charlie Ontiveros. I think Charlie Ontiveros was winning the fight up until the time that he got knocked out.
Most definitely.
This was supposed to be a little layup for Benitez. This was supposed to be a W for him, and he was getting touched up in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would have went if it would have went longer, because he was really just head kicking him whenever he wanted to.
Yeah, but that's why he ended the fight short, because had it gone the distance, it would have like trickled down, not being in his favor. So, you got to capitalize in the beginning when you can, because he was definitely getting touched up. Yeah.
Yep. So I thought he was going to retire after this. This would have been a perfect time to retire, right after this fight. This is a good W to retire. But shout out to Gabriel Benitez. Next, speaking of good fight to retire on, this was a good fight to retire on. Shout out to Nina Nunes on getting a W and then retiring versus Cynthia Calvillo. And this was a close fight, super close fight. And I thought Calvillo was going to come out, with the W with it. But I almost was like, it's any woman's, if it's not a draw. But they couldn't have that. So shout out to Nina Nunes getting a W and retiring. She contributed to the MMA world, and she contributed to some of the W's of Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, she said she want to focus on coaching and having more babies. But I also, to me, it seems like this fight was a lot rougher than she expected to be, or she wasn't as confident in herself. Like I looked and I noticed that she was avoiding the ground. But I'm like, well, why are you avoiding the ground? Like, well-rounded goes back to being a well-rounded fighter, and you just can't like avoid situations. Granted, there may be people better than you in different situations, but avoiding it does not help you. It's as we see, it's starting to hinder you just because you're trying to avoid it. You have to engage with it. But shout out to her for the win and the retirement.
Yep. Shout out to Nina Nunes. Next, Martin Buday versus Lukas Brzezinski. Martin Buday came through with the W. I think what helped him a lot was his clinch work, and them boys was being active. I don't know how this wasn't one of the fight of the nights, or performance of the nights.
This showed me like Brzezinski was the busier fighter, but Boudet, he had more of an impact. But I've also seen it go the other way to where the busier fighter, won the fight versus like last week, last week, a girl got snubbed. She had more significant strikes and she was doing more damage, but the other fighter was busier and they won. So I would like to see some consistency with this because I do think Brzezinski, to me, he won this fight, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I think maybe it's because the significant strikes that Uday was landing was heavy, hard hitting strikes. And the strikes that Brzezinski was landing were just kind of pop shots, touching them up, moving around, and get a significant shot every once in a while. Yeah. So I think that's what kind of got it there. But either way, the numbers don't reflect the result of the fight, which is, kind of weird. But next, thank you, judges, for getting this one right.
Right.
Because you couldn't deny this one. This one was kind of that. Angela Hill versus Lupe Godinez. And this one was unanimous. Angela Hill got the W in San Diego, her new hometown, I guess. Because Maryland ain't her hometown no more, or ain't her state no more. But it's cool.
Can't go back.
We still rocking with you. I ain't go back either. So yeah, she got the W. I was happy to see this, and especially versus Lupe Godinez, because this is a good W. This is a big W because Lupe Godinez was kind of walking through the division, kind of stopped her. So now we want to see one of them big fights because one, Angela Hill's jiu-jitsu elevated, her boxing elevated. I feel like she kind of in her prime right now where, her chin is solid, where she could take a punch. So I feel like those things, and she already had the dog in her. That's always been there. Yeah. Like, I feel like she wouldn't have got this far without having that dog in her. And, she keeps getting these fights. That's why they were talking about her. She fighting every other week. But shout out to Angela. Yeah.
Shout out to Angela Hill coming through. I took a chance. I knew you was going to come through with a W, and I cashed in. I bet on you, and it paid off. So I'm pretty excited about that. But also, like Angela Hill, as a Muay Thai fighter, you got to use more of those elbows. I promise you, elbows going to be your best friend. They're going to help end the fight, and it's less damage you have to take on your knuckles. Just pop, throw it up every now and again. Just be real clean with it, and the knees too. That's what I would like to see more from her. But I was happy about her performance. I would like more leg kicks too. Just tear the body up slowly or fast, however you want to do it. But I believe incorporating that in your game will help you overall.
She had 2 flying knees.
Yeah,
that was.
I wanted more
from Osborne. You don't want to, have that too. You don't want to have that too much in your arsenal. Where people can use it to their advantage. So she used it at the right times. Like, she used it at great times when she did use it, just right as she was balling up and, right as it was like her backing up and she was going to back up into the cage. Like, so she used it at good times. Like, and that's where like her IQ is elevating, and she looked a little scary on the ground. Like she was ready for anything on the ground like that. And it's good. And it's just like, I hope she keeps that, because I know she's a blue, I think she just got promoted to purple, if I'm not mistaken. Stay close to those fundamentals, because it's like, those are the things that's going to save you and on those ground positions and get you to finish submissions.
Oh, I'm not talking about flying knees. I'm talking about knees in the clinch, just subtle knees every now and again. Not hell no, not the flying knees all the time. Absolutely not. But, throw the flying elbows all the time. Those are just going to be your best friend. It's going to be good. Flying elbows.
Next, Bruno Silva versus Gerald Meerschaert. This one was a submission, round 3, guillotine.
He said he couldn't get him out with the hands. He's a very tough opponent, which I can completely agree. And sometimes, you end up gassing yourself out trying to knock people out with punches, and then they end up surviving, and now you have nothing else to give. So I think in the times of especially like 3rd round, if you find an opening for a submission and it's clear, take it, because that is way easier than just exerting all your energy, just throwing punches and you not finish it. And you still have to keep going. So
People want to finish it in like a brutal way, to keep that hype going and keep that,
Choking somebody out is finish it in a brutal way.
It is finishing, but it's not like a knockout. It's not a knockout.
It's not everybody has knockout power. Not everybody's going to
Bruno Silva has knockout power. Gerald Meerschaert has knockout power. He sat him down.
He sat him down, but it wasn't enough to get him gone. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you going to keep trying, and then, hey, you can either just keep trying to punch him, or I can just choke you out. I'm gonna choke you out.
Yeah, that was the safest way to go about it. This surprised me because I thought Bruno Silva was gonna knock Gerald Meerschaert out, and Gerald Meerschaert is just showing that he's elevating his game, which is like a beautiful thing.
As he should.
So shout out to Gerald Meerschaert. Next, Priscilla Capoeira versus Ariane Lipsky. Priscilla got the W in round 1. Ariane Lipsky. It's kind of like she ain't show up that night. She wasn't prepared.
She had good people in her corner too. It was like nothing they could do. She ended up balling up and just got the crap beat out of her.
It was one of them.
It was one of those, like, damn girl, like, you look like very amateurish, like you don't need to be here. Or, Priscilla is just that elite. I
would say that her last fight, I don't know. I think Ariane Lipsky just kind of didn't show up.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what happened with this one. But at the same time, shout out to Priscilla Capoeira. And maybe she did elevate her game to the point where it's overwhelming, and she did the right studying where she knew if she just overwhelmed Ariane Lipsky, then, she'll get the W. Mm-hmm. So shout out to her. Shout out to Priscilla Capoeira. Next, Osmont Meerschaert versus Devin Clark. Osmont came through with the W. Devin Clark just is a dog. That's it. So, like, it's like he lasted round 3, and he pretty much was just getting tagged left and right. Like, he had some moments, but Osmont was just, like I was just saying, overwhelming.
I felt bad for him.
His power was really just on display.
Yeah.
At that night, and Devin Clark was just there taking shots, and it was bad.
It was. I felt so bad for him. It was just a lot of running, a lot of evading, and
Osmont's moving up. Whatever anybody want to say, he's moving up, and he's definitely a problem for the 205ers. So be on the lookout for Osmont. He has good wrestling as well, which is, crazy when you have hands and power like that. So shout out to Osmont on the W. Devin Clark did seem like he was kind of nervous about the dangers of, like, being hurt. Like, because when he had his teeth knocked in, it seemed like that after effect is a difference. Now him being on the ground is like a trigger now. Like, and I think he kind of panicked and he wasn't able to be his best self. So mental health coaches do things for that. They help, like, for situations like that.
Yeah, and if that's a fear, then maybe this is not the sport for you. If you just gonna be afraid to get on the ground. Like, I understand you have traumas, and if you haven't worked past those traumas, then it's time to vacate the premises and do something else.
Hey, next, Yasmin Uruguay versus Yasmin Luciendo. And I thought Luciendo was going to come through with the W on this one. I thought the underdog was about to pull this one off.
Me too.
But I guess Uruguay was just more active.
Yeah. And so this is another fight to where Luciendo, she had more power and Yasmin was more active. But I would like to say that this fight was consistent. This is what a UFC fight is supposed to look like. Both of them, they fought from start to finish, from round 1 to round 3. This is what a UFC fight is supposed to look like. Not two athletes gas. Like, y'all are at an elite status. This is what an elite fight looks like. Not people gassing out round 2 and round 3. No, they were entertaining and they were active from start to finish. And I just want to give them both kudos for that. And this was both of their debut. So it's only much more exciting things to come from this. But, like, y'all got to get y'all cardio up. Like, that's it. Like, this is your job. Work on your cardio. Be active for 15 minutes and not just half in, half out. Like, I understand people get knockouts and they've been relying on that consistently and not working on their cardio, but that's only going to carry you so far. You got to work on your cardio. So,
yep. Next, speaking of got to work on your cardio, Nate the Train versus David Onama. Speaking of cardio, these guys was gassed, but Nate had like that second tank where he just kept going, and David Onama was pretty much wobbling the whole time, trying to stand up, pretty much trying to survive.
yeah, but he'll come back every now and again with his, dropping Nate. So it was a lot of back and forth, and I can understand why this one fight of the night. But David staying in this and just, throwing punches every now and again in the third round helped that become a great fight because they were just both exhausted in round 3. It was just, but they kept swinging though. So that's what I can appreciate. Like they just going to keep going until the bell rings, and that's what I'm here for.
Nate definitely kept him in that fight. He kept him in that fight for entertainment purposes. Like I never seen somebody play with their food more and then almost get eaten by it at the end. Because right at the end, like that got bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it really owned up and pulled up for like a great co-main event.
Absolutely.
So shout out to Nate the Train for getting it done once again.
I know a hood fighter when I see one.
You talking about Nate?
Yes.
He was just balling up and going. And then getting too excited every time he get on the ground and try to pump the crowd up.
Yep.
This is what y'all want to see, right? Yep, that's a hood fighter right there. Next, Marlon Vera versus Dominick Cruz. God damn.
Yeah.
Marlon Vera just stayed patient. He stayed walking in on Dominick Cruz while Dominick Cruz did all his, all his back and forth, jump up and down, back and forth, lateral, all that shit. Now guys are just watching you, and waiting to fucking kick you in your head. So it's just like, I don't know if they've just been able to study Dominick Cruz enough or that much, but it seemed like Marlon Vera was making like adjustments in the fight, like as it was happening.
Before the knockout happened, Dominick Cruz was winning this fight. He was a busier one. He was going for takedowns, and I understand Marlon was staying patient, and he knew he had the knockout power to do so. He just had to wait for the perfect timing, but sometimes the perfect timing does not come. I'm happy it came in round 4. He was able to get the KO, but that's pushing it. So,
yeah, it's like how long are you willing to wait? Like how long are you willing to be patient? Because Dominick Cruz was definitely trying to point fight him, but it's like different because it's almost like Dominick Cruz went in there with the mindset like I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna win this fight, and Marlon Vera went in there with the mindset of I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna finish this fight. Like, so I guess his mentality came out, and it's like he didn't worry about those like the leg kicks, the point fighting. He just waited for that moment. So he believed in himself.
He believed in himself, and he got a couple knockdowns prior to that too. So he knew he just had
it
to
was
catch
there.
him. It was a matter of time before I catch you.
That's a fact too. That's a fact too. Those knockdowns did, play effect because Dominick Cruz did switch some things up every time he got knocked down.
Yeah, but he hopped right back up. He stayed active, and Dominick Cruz has cardio for days, so he could have did that the entire 5 rounds. And so I'm happy it was able to work out in his favor because I even bet on Marlon. I knew he was going to win this. I knew he was going to find a way to finish this fight because if you allow Dominick to play his game, he's just going to dance around you all night and pop in, hop out, and just keep dancing around you.
So he hopped into a head kick. God damn, that shit was crazy.
Vicious.
That shit crazy. Like I don't know. I think that was one of them ones where like it looked like his nose broke. Like you can see like the indentation on his nose after the kick. Like
damn,
Marlon Vera. Ooh, that shit was kind of nasty. That shit was nasty. But shout out to Marlon Vera on getting his W in the bantamweight. Bantamweight is going off right now.
Now tell him about the hairstyles. Every fight he come with a different hairstyle. I thought it was a different fighter. You just got to look at the tattoos. It's like, is this the same man? It is.
But they were dope hairstyles. All of them was dope hairstyles.
They was.
Like, he had like the cornrow, like the cornrows, the island cornrows. Like, look at the fresh bread. And then he had the silver cut with the line, with the part. Then he had the mohawk, like it was like a mullet or something. Then he had the fade. So, I mean, bunch of hairstyles. I don't know anybody else that had different hair, that many different hairstyles. But what's coming up?
Usman.
Usman. Why y'all doing that in Salt Lake City? What the fuck are y'all doing?
Wow.
Y'all say, hey, let's find a way where we got at least amount of black people come to this event.
Wow.
That's like not Florida, not even in London. Y'all couldn't get my man a London pay-per-view over there in London.
What about Africa?
Why, if they're not trying to do this anywhere else besides Utah, then why you think they ain't doing it in Africa?
I know they ain't doing it in Nigeria. You need a visa, tourist visa to go over there.
Well, fighters not gonna be able to get in and fight.
Yep. Couple of them will.
South Africa. Go to South Africa. That's probably why
they ain't ready for that elevation. They're not ready for that.
Yeah, that's a different elevation. So, Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards.
Wow, did you? That? Okay.
I didn't think it's going down too. They've been talking trash. Like, the funniest thing is when Kamaru said that he tried to help out Leon Edwards. And he said,
please
man,
put that clip in there.
He said,
please make sure you put the clip in here.
He said, man, and you and Mandem didn't do nothing. I can't stand when they try to use different accents. That should be every week. You and Mandem didn't do nothing. He said, so he had to knock his head to the moon. He said he did that for you.
Why they be playing with people?
Come on, funny as shit. Like, people, like, I don't know. I don't know. That should be funny. But who else? Let me see who else on it. Paulo Costa, Luke Rockhold for the co-main event. That's cool. That's cool. Bunch of other names that, you know, probably know.
I don't know, but Leon Edwards, he got a chance. He legit has a chance to take this belt. And, you know, I think this is going to be a good fight either way, because Leon Edwards, he's evolved his game over the years and he's just become a better fighter. He worked on his ground game. Look how he did Nate Diaz and everybody else he's just been running through. I believe he's on a 9-fight winning streak. And so Kamaru Usman needs to be nervous, especially because whenever you apply the pressure to Kamaru Usman, his plan falls apart. And if you think people haven't been watching, they have. So I really hope he's been working on that and just, you know, trying to be ready and staying ready as a champion. You may get a little complacent because, you know, you won consistently so many times, you know, you still got to make tweaks. And so either way, if the belt changes over, I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad. But at the same time, I don't think it will.
Well, either way, I wouldn't be mad.
That's the thing about that.
Yeah.
And then after that, you got Tuivasa versus Cyril Gane.
And
then
you think Cyril Gane gonna take that one?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Because unless Tuivasa really starts like taking it serious and like really, because like, you know, he was having fun for a while. Now it's just like, you know, have fun with it. Now you really got to lock in because Cyril Gane is, you know, literally like former he a former champion, former
a contender.
No, he was the champion. He was the interim champion.
Yeah. And so I think, but fun is what got him to this point in the first place. So like, I know you want to change up your game plan a little bit, but maybe he does his best when he's having fun.
Yeah, I believe that. But at the same time, I'm just saying there's just mistakes that lie in between the fun sometimes.
Yeah.
That have to get, you know, tightened up, you know, when you're about to face somebody like Cyril Gane, who is like a technical fighter and not going to just try to run in and bull rush you and get knocked out. You know what I mean? So
that's fair. There's a lot of ranked people fighting next week as well, too. So I'm excited to see, you know, either people move up in the ranks or defend their ranking spot because, you know, you at that point. I know you're trying to get better, but you still have something to defend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's some predictions for y'all. If y'all wanted to hear some, just a few, just our take on it. But at the same time, that was the NoCap recap, and we touched on a little bit of what's going to be going on next week, Usman versus Edwards.
Hey, real quick though, there is no fights on, the tournament night, which is good. No stress there. But then it's like from September, it's like blank till October 22nd. So hopefully they put in some like
October 22nd is gonna be fucking huge.
Man, that shit's gonna be crazy. Yeah, but that's like a whole month of no UFC stuff. So I'm hoping that they slide a couple in there. I'm sure they will. And then it's like 3 weeks off, and then the Adesanya fight. So, I'm hoping that they throw some fights in there. If not, I'm gonna have to find something to do with my time. On my Saturdays. Yeah, I gotta do some shit on my Saturdays now. It's not just be at the house.
Yep, the 22nd is gonna be wild.
Yeah, because
Sean Brady, like
it's gonna be a
Amanda
good fight.
Lemos, Rodriguez, that's gonna be nuts. Like, oh my goodness.
Aljamain and TJ Dillashaw, that I'm a little nervous about that.
I ain't nervous about that.
You think Aljamain got that?
I think Aljamain gonna choke him out. I think he's going to use the jiu-jitsu. He's going to do the takedown method, and he got hands too. So that's the difference.
Yeah, and TJ Dillashaw got juice. He got old juice.
On that note, we really out of here on that. Hey, we out of here. Now, I guess that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the RoundHouse RoundTable NoCap recap. Make sure y'all go check us out on all streaming platforms: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you can check out a podcast. We there. If you want to check us out on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, social media. We there. Come holler at us. It's the RoundHouse RoundTable. It's me and Monty T. Got B in the building, and we out of here.
That's why I use the heat as a sword, cause keep the peace as a boy. They go keys for you. Say please. That's one, please. Don't need no one. That's two, please. Don't leave. That's 3, 4. If you do